You know that feeling when you wake up tired, even after a full night's sleep, when you push through your day running on empty, wondering where your energy went? Here's something most people don't know, that fatigue may actually be happening inside your cells. That's why I've been using anti-factor lipids powder from Nutritional Therapeutics for years. I don't go a day without it. It's based on over 20 years of research and a patented process called membrane lipid replacement, which actually repairs the damaged components of your cell membranes, restoring your cell's ability to produce energy the way they did when you were younger. Clinical studies show anti-factor can reduce fatigue by up to 40%. Just 1 or 2 scoops a day. Mix it in a smoothie like I do, sprinkle it on food, and you're giving your body the science of youthful energy. Anti-Factor Lipids Powder comes in 2 convenient sizes. For more information and to order, just call 800-982-9158, 800-982-9158, or go to antifactor.com. That's antifactor.com for Anti-Factor Lipids Powder. Welcome back to today's Intelligent Medicine Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Ronald Hoffman. Really, I got to say, I do a lot of podcasts and I have some great guests, but I got to tell you that my happy zone is our weekly Q&A with Leyla, where we get to have a great conversation that's teed off by your questions. Questions come to questions@drhoffman.net. And
it is a happy place. Yeah.
Also, I got to say, I'm so much more relaxed, when I have to hold forth on a solo thing for 2 hours for my weekly radio program.
Yeah.
It's a little bit challenging, a little bit stressful. I enjoy it, but this is like, there's flow with the weekly Q&A with Leyla.
It's different. And even with my solo podcast, Dr. Hoffman, which doesn't go nearly as long as yours, it goes to about maybe 25 minutes in total. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Just wow.
Talking to yourself it's
exactly.
A lot. Yeah. Right.
Anyway.
Okay. So, we've got questions. The questions are coming to questions@drhoffman.net, and let's hear it.
All right. Before I get to Tony's actual question, which we just teased at the end of part 1, I want to give you his background here. Hi, Dr. Hoffman, Leyla. I've been following you for decades. I'm now reaching my 81st birthday with few complaints.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, fantastic. Generally healthy. I'm able to do everything I did in my 40s, maybe for shorter periods. But my main issues have been high blood pressure, controlled by meds, type 2 diabetes, controlled with metformin. But in the last couple of years, I made a concerted effort to lose weight and build muscle. And I succeeded with a little help from Mounjaro.
Okay.
Now I'm at 180 pounds and I've stopped the Mounjaro. I continue resistance training.
Mm-hmm.
My cardiologist and we were also able to reduce my blood pressure meds. I'm now on half the dose, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'll be lowering them further as we go on. Now my A1C, my hemoglobin A1C has stabilized at 5.5 for the last year. But my endocrinologist doesn't want me to reduce my metformin dosage from 1,000 milligrams twice a day. She maintains there are longevity benefits. I'm willing to continue with it at a lower dose, but I'd like to know your thoughts on that.
Okay. So, well, first of all, a hemoglobin A1C of 5.5 is in the normal range. We generally consider 6.2, or some people consider 6.4 as the threshold for diabetes, but there's that intermediate zone, anywhere from 5.7 to 6.1 or up to 6.3, which suggests that you have what a very high percentage of Americans have, which is metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance, or pre-diabetes. It's not inevitable you're going to get diabetes, but there are actually negative consequences to your heart, your brain, your circulatory system, inflammation from that intermediate blood sugar. So this guy is doing really well. 5.5 is in the optimal range. I mean, you want to really get an A+, get it down to 5.2 or something, 5.0.
Right.
But that's pretty darn good for a guy who's, has lost weight and is overcoming diabetes and hypertension. Okay, that being said, so there is no strong reason from the diabetic standpoint that he stay on metformin. Metformin is a kind of a mild medication for diabetes, an oral medication, and it helps to control blood sugar a little bit.
Yes.
Okay. And, but one of the off-target effects because there are, taking certain drugs, they're harmful
Yeah.
side effects, and there are also sometimes surprising side benefits. One of the
Yes.
benefits of metformin is said to be longevity.
Mm-hmm.
And there's research going on at my alma mater, which is a big study that's looking at non-diabetics
Mm-hmm.
who are taking metformin with the proposition that this may extend their longevity. However, there are beginning to be some signs that that is not the case, that it is not a longevity drug. And there's some, metformin's an interesting drug. It seems to help blood sugar, and it also may have some anti-cancer effects. We actually can sometimes use metformin, especially for reproductive cancers. I have some patients who are trying to avoid recurrences of breast cancer, prostate cancer, taking metformin. But that effect is not a slam dunk. It's kind of a weak protective effect, and studies are kind of controversial on that now.
Yeah.
And studies are beginning to challenge the notion that, if you're of normal weight and normal metabolism, that there's no longevity benefit to taking metformin. Now, if you're diabetic and you control your blood sugar, certainly, controlling your blood sugar right there, there's a longevity benefit to that.
Sure.
But if you're non-diabetic, you have a normal BMI, you have normal blood sugar, you don't have insulin resistance, that is beginning to be kind of blurry. Another thing about metformin that would bother me because I would fit that category. I was like, I'm metabolically healthy. I'm 73. And should I just be popping metformin as a life extension thing? It's cheap and its side effects are minimal. Well, what is emerging is that there may be deleterious effects of metformin on muscle, and that you may not garner the benefits of exercise conditioning to the extent that if you're not taking metformin. So
what we do know of the side effects, however, is anyone taking metformin, it may lower their B12.
Sure.
And we've actually seen this happen. So we have to give them B12, number one. Number two, if we see any change in kidney function, where we see kidney function being compromised, creatinine is going up, first order of business is to stop taking metformin.
Right. And by the way, that was...
See if it reverses.
Do you know that metformin was actually recalled? There was a recall of metformin early on. But what it caused in patients with renal problems, and many patients who have diabetes have kidney problems.
Yes.
There were some cases of what's called lactic acidosis, which is a dangerous condition where, it's very kind of life-threatening. And so they said, oh my God, metformin, dangerous, take it off the market. Well, they kept it on the market in Europe, and then FDA regulators in the United States kept looking at Europe, and they said, well, we're not seeing that much in Europe. But if you really have bad kidney function, as you say, maybe metformin is not for you. But it has to be fairly bad. We've like a creatinine of 1.3 or 1.5 or something is not necessarily a contraindication to that. And metformin doesn't kill your kidneys, unlike some other drugs have negative effects on the kidneys.
Yes.
But if you have bad kidney function, maybe that's not the greatest idea to take metformin.
Right.
Okay. So, I'm thinking that I'm not sure that this endocrinologist is on top of the latest information on metformin. I mean, I don't want to go...
I think this endocrinologist is seeing that he's 81.
Yeah.
And wants him to, live a long time.
Well, that's a good thing. But that's a good thing. But
of course.
But I think it's based on sketchy or potentially erroneous information until we have this big study out of Einstein, which should come out within the next couple of years, which will be the final, because they actually have, Einstein's up in the Bronx, and there's a lot of old people in the Bronx, and they're studying centenarians. What's the secret to their longevity? And so it's the question is it a life extension thing, or is it merely life extension because it helps to curb something which is life limiting, which is diabetes?
Mhm. Okay.
And by the way, I think it's a pretty safe medication overall. I don't think it's,
Yeah.
harmful.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
is it an anti-aging elixir? I don't know.
Right. I want to say kudos to Tony for really taking control of his life. He succeeded in losing weight. He's doing resistance training. Yeah, and he took some help from Manjaro, which is the semaglutide we were talking about. But then he stopped the Manjaro. Yay. Some people just want to take that stuff forever like it's a magic bullet. The fact that he's on half his blood pressure meds now, that's fantastic.
It's a success story.
Weight loss.
It's a success
story.
Yep.
And he's a continuing success story. So Tony, do keep in touch with us. We love hearing about this, and let us know how you're doing. That's great. Make sure you're on a lower carb diet, because that is the antidote to keeping your A1C down. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And then having you take less metformin, which is always ideal. Less medication is always ideal.
The trial in question is being conducted by Dr. Mir Barzilay at the Einstein Institute for Aging Research, and they are doing something called the TAME trial. And I'm just going to I'm looking this up now. What's the timeline for the TAME trial? Because people are anxiously awaiting that. And let's see, TAME trial results. Mm-hmm. No efficacy results have yet been published for the TAME trial. Stands for Targeting Aging with Metformin trial. Mm-hmm. And it's a meticulously prepared clinical study, 14 leading U.S. medical centers, to track whether metformin can delay the onset or progression of age-related chronic diseases, including cardiovascular disease, cancer, dementia, and all-cause mortality. 3,000 adults. And what's the timeline for that? It is, when's it out? TAME trial sites, years of trial, 6 years, but they got to do it for a while to see if, you can't do a trial like this in, 2 years. So, when's it coming out?
Hopefully soon. I would look forward to reading all about that. And that's also a lot of data collection and everything, and scrutiny, and hopefully using the proper statistics and so forth. And
it's and the way it works is through something called AMPK activation.
Yes,
and
which goes up when mTOR goes down. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like rapamycin. Okay. So current debate among longevity experts regarding its use in completely healthy adults. So it's a controversial thing. It does increase lifespan in mice by about 4 to 8%.
Okay.
But
we're not mice.
But needless to say, most of us are. I mean, I think I've met some people who are rodent-like in there, but I don't think we share a lot of DNA with mice.
Yeah. mTOR, people think it's some kind of freestanding thing. mTOR goes down as insulin is coming down, as we're approaching true autophagy as well, because that's when the AMPK starts to go up. They're never together.
Right.
So autophagy is so important. Autophagy. Sorry, I should say tomato.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that hypothetically make a lot of sense, but then we have to see when the rubber meets the road, do they actually produce results in human subjects when taken over a long period of time?
Right. We could sit and theorize, but it doesn't necessarily work out like that. And we need to understand why. So, Yeah.
And by the way, anybody involved with the TAME trial, I'd love to have an opportunity to interview you. I've been trying to get Mir Barzilay, but he's a busy guy. And, maybe he'll do something for an old Einstein alum.
Be cool. That would be great. Tony, continue carrying on as you are. And thanks for getting in touch with us. And thank you for your question. Reminder, questions at drhuffman.net is the place for questions. I think it's a good time to hear from one of our sponsors, Dr. Huff.
Good idea. So let's allow one of our sponsors a little bit of time to share some important information. Usually, I find most of these interruptions pretty informative. So here goes. Please listen up. Ever walk into a room and forget why you're there? Lose your train of thought mid-sentence? Feel like your brain is running on fumes by 2 p.m? Try Kyolic Specialty Series Smart Mushrooms Plus. This isn't caffeine. It's not some jittery stimulant that crashes you an hour later. This is a clean, science-backed formula built around certified organic lion's mane mushrooms, clinically shown to support the nerve growth factor that actually helps your brain maintain and organize neurons. We're talking real foundational support for focus and mental clarity, and it doesn't stop there. It's combined with Kyolic Aged Garlic Extract, aged up to 20 months on organic California farms, plus Aronia Berry Extract, selenium, and vitamin B12 for long-term brain health and executive function. 2 capsules with a meal, once a day, vegan, non-GMO, no gluten, no dairy, no artificial anything. Kyolic Smart Mushrooms Plus from Wakanaga. Learn more about this and the entire Kyolic Mushrooms Plus line at kyolic.com. That's KYOLIC.com. Look for Kyolic at natural health stores nationwide and online. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting our sponsors. They're what make intelligent medicine continuing free resource to you. I've got to say, I'm really pleased with our lineup of sponsors. Taking every single one of their supplements, and I believe heartily in what they're trying to put out and communicate about the benefits. So
Absolutely.
Good stuff.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. What's next? Oh, and how many questions do we still? We have a couple of questions.
We have 2 questions.
Great.
We've got a couple of questions left here. The second one is a little longer one, although this might be a longer one. This comes from Michael, who's an 83-year-old male. Hi, Dr. Hoffman and Leyla.
Are any questions coming from anybody under 80 years of age on this?
Honestly, we're all living longer, and I expect, Dr. Hoffman, we're going to continue getting questions from people in their 90s and 103 and all of that, because apparently any health conference I've gone to, we're going to live to 120. Cool. I'm middle age.
Not only that, but some of the centenarians will actually know how to use email.
Oh my! Right. Anyway, Michael says, I've been having sporadic pain under the right lower rib.
Mm-hmm.
And ultrasound showed a large gallstone. No inflammation, no bile duct blockage.
Mm-hmm.
Pain increases or decreases dependent on my body position. What would you advise if the symptom persists? Removal of the gallbladder?
Yeah.
Or what are the pros and cons of each?
Yeah, this is kind of a judgment call, and I am not a surgeon, but this is kind of a dilemma for surgeons. The question is, what do you do for asymptomatic gallstones? Or this is minimally symptomatic, but it's not like this person's, every time they're having... Yeah, like a little bit of pain, but it's not unbearable pain, and it's not like blocking the bile duct. Yeah. And it's just kind of hanging out there, and there's some discomfort. And so theoretically, any gallstone could eventually become problematic because it could then move and block a bile duct, and then you become jaundiced, and it's a serious thing, or you could have an infection, and, emergency surgery is no picnic. So it is often recommended that people with asymptomatic gallstones have their gallstones removed electively. Now, generally, the thought is elective surgery should only be contemplated in people who have low risk for surgery. When you're 83, even if you're in pretty darn good health, you're almost always considered somewhat higher risk for surgery. So it's a risk-benefit equation. If it's kind of bothering you, changing positions, and it's not like imminently life-threatening, then especially considering the underlying health of the person, if the person is super healthy at 83 and they want to remove the potential for future danger, they can undertake the surgery. Better to do it at 83 than at 92, right? Because, generally people have less reserve as they age. Yeah, I mean... Now,
Dr. Hoffman, is it true that they rarely just go in and remove the stone, in this case, which is a large one, but they just like to do away with the gallbladder altogether?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They don't just
Okay.
remove the stone. I mean, you can have a stone smashing procedure with, external counterpulsation, that is like a stone's, it's like smashes the
Like a
gallstone.
lithotripsy for kidney stones?
Yeah.
Ouch. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But, generally they just remove the gallstone. I mean, dissolving a large gallstone is virtually impossible. There are some infusions that sometimes can take care of sludge, but is there a supplement that can, dissolve away a large gallstone? No.
No.
And so I think it really gets to be kind of a judgment call. And again,
Yeah.
if this guy was like 45, I'd say, get it out because it might cause trouble later. And you're in the, prime of your life and probably the peak of your physical condition. But if you're 83, it becomes kind of a judgment call, as with any
Right.
elective surgery. So if you're 83 and you got bad knees and, they might contemplate a knee replacement. Well, a healthy 83-year-old could get a whole new lease on life with a knee replacement, but a rather frail 83-year-old with underlying cardiovascular problems, or perhaps even, like cancer, where their life expectancy might be limited anyway, it might not be worth the risk to undertake the long, the surgery with the surgical complications and the long convalescence associated with a knee replacement.
Right.
So,
right.
it's a judgment call. And, I hope we have some surgeons who are listening in on this, because I would love to hear what their perspective is on that.
Right. Right. Yeah. Michael, we hope you're not in much pain, and whatever you decide, let us know.
But this is it's kind of peculiar, because usually the symptoms are elicited by like a fatty meal or something like that.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's not a fatty meal. It's positional.
It's a positional thing.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Which could mean that it could be just a musculoskeletal thing. I mean, look, if every, ache and pain in the rib area or, the chest area that I have was indicating a heart problem or a gallstone, I'd be like running to the doctor, every other week, because doing exercise and, even like waking up on the wrong side of bed, you get
exactly
weird sensations sometimes. Sometimes it could be coincidental that there's a musculoskeletal thing, like an intercostal muscle strain. And then, by the way, we did a study and there's a gallstone there. That's what's called an incidental finding that is not the cause of the problem.
Right.
So
he went in to investigate the sporadic pain under his right lower rib.
A strategy might be, wait, a couple of months and see if it abates. You might have, twisted and strained an intercostal muscle under your rib cage. That's a possibility
that could be
too.
the source of the pain, is what you're saying, and not the gallstone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it could be really a silent gallstone.
Right.
Notwithstanding that it's visible. I mean, if we took everybody, on planet Earth and did an ultrasound to see if they had gallstones, we would find that billions of people would have gallstones, and most of them unaware of that. Yeah. And it does not have to be addressed.
Right. Right. Exactly. Okay. All right. Michael, best of luck to you. Best of health to you. Thank you for your email. All right. And here's our last question. This is coming from Kay. I'm a longtime listener, Dr. Hoffman. My name is Kay. My question is, all right, if I may say, I am getting pill fatigue. I take a lot of supplements.
This is one of the consequences of listening to intelligent medicine.
Right.
Because they keep coming up with great ideas for stuff you should take. And, Right.
She says, I take a lot of supplements. Seems I'm always tacking on something new. And now I'm probably up to 15, maybe 20 pills a day. Some are so big, they give me trouble swallowing them. So my question is, do they make a patch, the way you might take an estrogen or an HRT patch that you could put on your body that will deliver vitamins through the skin, or at least the basic ones, the basic vitamins, nothing fancy. And maybe we get to replace that patch twice a week. I'm 73 years old and in good health. I do have some cervical and spine issues, but if they don't have a patch, I wish somebody would come up with one. Now, I know, Dr. Hoffman, I think we had a question similar several weeks ago where somebody brought to our attention that there was some kind of a vitamin patch.
Oh, yeah. And
I don't know that it took hold.
I
Okay.
dialed up the website right now. It's very cleverly marketed. It's got a sophisticated name, Barriere, which rhymes with derriere. And I think there's about as much sense to barriere as there is in any given person's derriere. Because it's amazing. It like is the stuff that they.
I wonder if that's a suggestion to where the patch should go.
Okay, here it is. The pitch is between office hours and short winter days, most of us don't get enough sunlight. So take a vitamin D3 and K2 patch. Now, there is not hardly any evidence for absorption of vitamins through the skin. And the stuff that they sell here is just outrageous. They're selling, let's see what we got here with the vitamin patch. They've got an iron patch.
Oh,
Can you imagine iron traversing your skin?
that can't leave a nice mark behind.
Yeah, that's called a tattoo.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
If you want, so get a tattoo. You'll get more iron than with one of these. I mean, I just don't. And then there's kids' patches. Can you imagine subjecting your kid
Oh,
to this stuff?
I remember my Flintstones vitamin that my mother would as a child.
Right. So, I don't think there's anything to this. Maybe there's a smidge of transport of vitamins and minerals through the skin.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some controversy. I've just read a whole thing, and at the end of it, I was just shaking my head saying there's not a lot of evidence for this. Is magnesium, topical magnesium creams and patches.
Cream and spray.
And there's so many studies on this, and some of the studies say, yes, it's absorbed, but then when you look at the, quote, study, the study is sponsored by the manufacturer of the magnesium patch.
There will be bias.
That's not objective, and it's done on 18 people in Serbia or something like that, and that's always suspect. So I just don't think there's anything to it. But, this is a dilemma where I got to say that one of the most tedious things that I do in medical practice is people come in with a shopping bag. You've had this, right? They come in with a shopping bag of supplements, and then they start reaching and they just lay it out on the table, and it's like, 20 different things. And they go, I think I'm taking too many things. What can I eliminate?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like triaging their supplements.
I know. Yeah. Oh my
and
gosh.
there's three categories when it comes to that. There's number one, there's the things that really are necessary, that really you should be taking. So fully on board with those things. Then there are the things that are sort of optional. Like you could take this, but do you really need to? And especially if you need to limit because of budget or because of just tolerance, maybe you could do without that super immune booster or that longevity supplement or whatever that it purports to be. It may not be essential. You and I fortunately have the capacity to swallow lots of supplements, and we can absorb those things. But
I like to make sure if it is a tablet that it's on the small side.
Yeah, I don't like tablets so much. Yeah,
because
they've kind of hard edges.
Kind of get stuck. Yeah. Kay is also asking, pertaining to pill swallowing. She's wondering if she could dissolve vitamins in applesauce or water or juice. She's doing that with one vitamin, which is so big, right? It's not coated, so it's not sliding down easily. Well, the other week it got stuck in my throat, which has happened before, and I was always able to hack it out.
Yikes.
Not this time. I thought I was going to die. It wouldn't go down and it wouldn't come out. I drank water, then lemonade. And finally,
I'll tell you a story. I had a patient, and she owned a health food store, and she was a relatively young woman. I think she was 50,
Mm-hmm.
And she recounted a horrifying incident where she was taking her daily supplements and all of a sudden she started choking and she could not breathe for life. And she was alone and
Oh,
she felt like she was going to black out. And fortunately, she had a landscaper outside and she was standing in her kitchen, and through the kitchen window, the landscaper saw that she was in distress. She was like waving her arms in
wow.
distress and came running into the house, for doors weren't locked, and administered the Heimlich maneuver on her. But how
Oh,
ironic if
God.
there had been a newspaper story like owner of health food store dies due to,
Yeah.
vitamin choking incident,
Yeah.
it can happen. It can happen.
It can happen. And you kind of have to, I think some of the advice Dr. Hoffman told me, if this is true, is that you are alone and you're choking, is you want to like bash the back of your dining room chair into or something, or
I guess you
crash into it or lean over it or
simulate a
something
Heimlich
to
maneuver.
kind of,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my God. It's just right.
Okay. So
Mhm.
I was going to say, though, two categories. One is things that you should be taking and they're pretty necessary, things that
Yes.
are superfluous or optional. And then there's a third category, which is sometimes I see people take and I go, that's not for you. That's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Or it
Exactly.
could be interacting with their medication in a bad way, or it could be,
Right.
just the wrong thing for them to be taking. And then that's
Right.
easy. We'll get rid of those things first off. It's unnecessary and even potentially
Mhm.
harmful. But,
Yeah.
most things are kind of innocuous. They fall into the first two categories. So, look, I think there's what's called prioritization and paring down, and we can kind of like say, this is the
Mhm.
most germane things we should take. I got to say that when you take many vitamins and you dissolve them in food, they have such a strong taste
Yeah.
that they
just
they're
don't
really
taste good.
bitter, like multivitamins, chewable, or the doses sometimes are so small so as to eliminate the bad taste.
Mhm.
And then there's vitamin drinks. And
Mhm.
you've had patients who can't swallow, and what do you tell them?
Yeah, I will tell them, I will turn them towards liquid vitamins, even children's vitamins or chewables.
Mm-hmm.
Last straw would be a type of gummy because
Yeah.
they're so sweet and
Yeah.
something like that. But I think Kate could easily take, if there's one particular vitamin that she doesn't want to stop taking, but it's too big, yeah, crush it and put it in some applesauce. If you could tolerate the taste
Mm-hmm.
of that like that, go ahead and do that.
And some things
But
are very
yeah,
neutral,
that's
and
true.
others have a very strong
And others
taste.
are horrible.
Yeah, right. Very bitter.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I've bitten into supplements because I didn't want to drink water,
Yeah.
and it's like, whoa, ugh,
Yeah.
awful. Not going to do
Yeah,
that
sure.
again.
So do crush what you want to, or find the capsule form, which is easier to swallow. All of that, all of
Mhm.
the above, or find the chewable versions. It's fine.
Or
They're
get
out
a
there.
quick review from a medical nutritionist and decide how to prioritize your vitamins because
Exactly.
you know
Because what you should be taking are the things that are directed to your individual biochemistry, what your conditions are, what your complaints are, what your concerns are, but also what's therapeutic for you in this period of time. And then what you need to do thereafter for maintenance and so forth.
I also think sometimes taking too many vitamins is a little bit of a form of OCD. And it reminds me of, have you ever been to like the Pacific Northwest or Alaska where they sell these totems, and you can get a cheap one that just maybe has
Uh-huh.
like a hawk and a rabbit, and it's kind of cute. But you can also build on that, and it's like build a bear. You can have like a totem that is like weighs 2 pounds, and it has every conceivable animal spirit in the Native American universe around your neck, and it's an amulet that will protect you from all misfortune. There's the wolf, there's the bear, there's the crow, there's and it's
2 pounds.
and no, but if you really want that optimal protection,
Oh, I
you
see.
got to get
Okay.
the $300 necklace,
Right.
not the $35 necklace. It's got every conceivable
Yeah.
deity in the pantheon of the Native American religions, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
there's a little magical thinking around that, is that
Okay.
let's think of the ways you get to like cancer, immunity,
Right.
cardiovascular disease, osteoporosis. I mean, there's something for everything,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah. But ultimately, you should stop eating that donut sandwich and bucket of flan.
Yeah. And get out there and, take, 6
Stop
or 8,000
drinking the
steps.
Kool-Aid.
Right. Stop drinking the Kool-Aid. Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh my goodness. Oh, reminder to everybody out there, send your questions to questions@drhoffman.net. And don't forget that through FullScript, you can access Dr. Hoffman's custom protocols that combine the products that he recommends to help you achieve your specific health goals.
Can I say something to that?
Yeah.
I've actually spent some time this week honing my protocols. And there's this new thing on FullScript where you can get access to what are called collections. And it's really very comprehensive. It starts with A, anti-aging, acne, everything with A. And then it's like many categories. And they list all the plausible products, not just the ones that I recommend, but that also other practitioners are recommending. So that and obviously you run into trouble if you take everything under the sun, because the hundreds of supplements. But under a condition you can look up, and, it may be blood pressure, it may be inflammation, it may be cardiovascular, it may be oncologic, and also I've tried to include the recommended products from our sponsors among those products. So I've spent a little time honing that. That's a resource that you can access via drhoffmanstore.com if you join FullScript, and you can go to collections, and you can actually. It's almost like getting a kind of a nutritional consult, because you'll see all the different supplements that are potentially relevant to a certain condition.
That's great. Okay. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. And we appreciate your questions. Questions@drhoffman.net. All right.
Good stuff. All right. Thanks very much for joining us, and have yourself a great week. And until next week, when I rejoin Leyla for our weekly Q&A with Leyla, questions@drhoffman.net to get us started. I want to thank you for listening to the Intelligent Medicine Podcast. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or your favorite podcast app, and get new episodes automatically downloaded every weekday. And please give us a rating and review. It truly helps new people discover intelligent medicine. The Intelligent Medicine Podcast is for general informational purposes only and does not constitute the practice of medicine, nursing, or other professional healthcare services, including the giving of medical advice, and no doctor-patient relationship is formed. The use of information on this podcast or materials linked from this podcast is at the user's own risk. The content of this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Users should not disregard or delay in obtaining medical advice for any medical condition they may have, and should seek the assistance of their healthcare professionals for any such conditions. Finally, please visit drhoffman.com and discover everything Intelligent Medicine has to offer, including frequently updated, unbiased health news and fully vetted product and supplement recommendations.
This is Leyla Muden, registered dietitian nutritionist. I maintain a private practice and see patients regularly. If you require a nutrition consult with me but live out of town, there's no need to travel to New York City. I have telephone and telehealth consultations with clients from all over the country. Please visit drhoffman.com for more information. And to set up an appointment, call 212-779-1744. That's 212-779-1744. I look forward to being a collaborator in your healthcare.